Live from NPR News, I'm Corva Coleman. President Biden and former President Donald Trump won several presidential primaries yesterday. These were in Arizona, Kansas, Illinois, Ohio, and Florida. Trump is a Florida resident. Yesterday, he revealed for whom he cast his presidential primary ballot.
I voted for Donald Trump. Yeah. Did somebody just say, who'd you vote for? Yeah, I voted for Donald Trump. Thank you.
Democrats in Florida did not hold a primary. Officials opted to award the state's Democratic delegates to President Biden. Meanwhile, Biden is trying to shore up support from Latino voters. In Arizona yesterday, he launched Latinos Con Biden-Harris. This is a campaign program meant to court Latino support. NPR's Deepa Shivaram is traveling with the president.
Biden rallied with Latino supporters at a Mexican restaurant in Phoenix on Tuesday. He talked about his administration's investments in Latino small businesses and Hispanic-serving institutions. But he was also quick to call out former President Trump and his rhetoric talking about immigrants.
This election is not a referendum on me. It's an election between me and a guy named Trump.
This week, the campaign also released an ad targeting Latino voters. The video highlights Biden's efforts to cut the cost of insulin and his support for reproductive rights. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News, Phoenix.
A federal appeals court has again put on hold a controversial Texas immigration law. It allows local police, rather than only federal officers, to arrest people suspected of illegally crossing into the U.S. The migrants could be deported to Mexico. The appeals court block came hours after the U.S. Supreme Court had allowed the law to go forward. But due to complex legal procedures, the lower appeals court blocked the Texas law, and we'll hear some arguments in the case this morning. The United Kingdom says its largest ever shipment of food aid to Gaza crossed into the territory overnight. The delivery comes amid warnings that famine is imminent. NPR's Lauren Freyer reports from London.
The UK's Foreign Office says this shipment includes fortified wheat flour for Gaza's bakeries, hot meals, and food parcels that consist of canned vegetables, meat, fish, and date bars. Altogether, it's more than 2,000 tons of food, enough to feed more than 275,000 people. It crossed into Gaza by land with help from Jordan, the Foreign Office says, and it's being distributed on the ground by the World Food Programme. This is in addition to a UK delivery last week that included 150 tons of blankets and tents, as well as a UK field hospital, which is now up and running inside the territory. Like the US, the UK sells weapons to Israel, but has also called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Lauren Freyer, NPR News, London.
Heavy fighting is still reported at Al-Shifa hospital in northern Gaza today. The Israeli military says that it has killed dozens of Palestinian fighters there. However, it is not clear that all of the dead were combatants. You're listening to NPR.